Well, now you have Linux installed, Linux Mint, brand new machine, ready to go. Now you got to install all of the ham radio software, the painstaking process to go through to get that all ready for communications. Well, wouldn't it be nice if there was just a easy button to push that would just install all of that for you? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. The AmRRON Linux build script that will install all of the ham radio software and security software applications that we use. So stay right there. Welcome everyone to the AmRRON Communications channel. Today we are going to walk you through the steps of downloading the script and running the script to install all of the software that you'll need for radio communications and the security applications that we also use. Real quick here, this is our brand new Linux build, and this is everything set up, at least on the desktop here. You'll notice in the upper left-hand corner, you have Chirp, and that is what we use for programming radios. That's free software. All of this is free software. You'll have next to that JS8 call and ComStat1, which work together. FLDigi and the entire suite of FLDigi, FLAMP, and FLMessage also automatically installed. The FLMessage viewer by Papa Romeo Whiskey, FLRig if you're running rig control. And there's some of these that I'm not going to really dive deep on today. But for security software, we have VeraCrypt, Cleopatra, the PFE and PTE, which is Paranoia Text Encryption and Paranoia File Encryption. PY BitMessage, which we don't often use, but we do keep it. It has some usefulness. Now, before we get into the setup guide again, I want to show you a really awesome feature in Linux. Some of you may be familiar with this. I discovered that it is also available in Windows. You gotta hunt it down, but it's also available for Mac users. But they're called hot corners, and they are I can't live without them now. I absolutely love it. So click on the Linux Mint icon down here, your system icon, and just in the search box, type in, you just start with hot, and you'll see hot corners pop up here. And what this does is creates additional workspaces for you that you can navigate to very, very quickly. So in hot corners, go ahead and activate each of these. Now you can customize them later on, because when you jam your mouse pointer into one of the corners on your screen, it will take this appropriate action here, or the corresponding action. So it'll either show all windows or show all workspaces. It'll show just the desktop, or it'll run a command. So in this case, we'll leave it at show all windows because that's where it defaulted. I use the upper left-hand corner, show all workspaces, a lot. Okay, so we've got that saved now. Let's go ahead and close it. They're all activated, and you jam up into the upper left-hand corner, and now it shows you 4 workspaces. You can also add more by pressing on the plus symbol, and I usually run at least 9 workspaces. So up here in this workspace, we're running, let's say, our internet browser. Okay, and then this workspace, I want to run FLDigi. So we'll double click on FLDigi. That's running, and you can see it in that workspace. Let's say in workspace 3, I want to have JS8 call running. This allows you to have a separate workspace for each task that you're working on, so you don't have all of these windows stacked on top of each other that you're trying to sort through. Okay, and let's open up ComStat in, this one isn't set up yet. Let's use our fictitious call sign W5XYZ, WXYZ, there we go. This we'll get to in a minute. Okay, so let's just leave that like that. So now you have 4 different workspaces, and just simply by jamming up into the upper left-hand corner, I can go straight to my FLDigi, click on it, and there it is. Now I'm working in FLDigi. If I want to go back to my internet browser, just go up here and click on the internet browser, okay, which we'll be coming back to in a minute. I have that open for a reason. Those are your hot corners, and they're just really slick. So in the upper right-hand corner, it will show you all of the windows that you have open in this workspace if you need to navigate to one really quickly. Jam it up again into the corner, and it takes you back to what you were originally looking at. The lower right-hand corner just gives you just the desktop. Sometimes you just need to clear everything out. I just need to click on an icon here on the desktop, and all these windows are covering it. So jamming down in the lower right-hand corner again closes that that function. And the lower left-hand corner shows you all of the windows that you have open in this workspace. Okay, so if you click on one, it will put that one up on top. So the first thing you'll want to do is go to gitlab.com. That's GIT lab.com/AmRRON/setup-scripts, and that link will be provided down below. Feel free to pause the video at any time if you need to get caught up, or back it up if you need to rewatch a section of this. But this will install all of your software programs, and I will point you to the PDF guide, which you'll be downloading here in just a moment. And that will walk you through the setup of each individual ham radio software program that you'll be downloading today. But once you get here, simply scroll down until you find the command lines that you will be entering into a terminal, which will automatically download and walk you through the setup for the AmRRON Linux build. I'm going to kind of make this smaller here and get that out of the way, because we are going to open up a terminal once again by just punching in Control-Alt-T all at the same time, and that opens up a terminal. So here we are in our freshly new built Linux Mint system on our mini PC that you saw set up in the last video. This is very simple. Just come over here, and when you hover over at the end of this command, the sudo apt install git, you'll see a box there appear with an icon for copying. Just click on that and it will copy that command. You come over here, right click, paste in the terminal, hit enter, and it will prompt you for your password. And then it will begin running this, but don't walk away, because periodically it will either prompt you for the password or to continue by typing in yes or no, and just hit the Y button and return. That first one gets done pretty quickly, but we'll go to the next line, the cloning the repository into your local system. So we're going to copy that command, come over to the terminal, right click, paste. This used to all be done manually, individually, and it was quite the painstaking activity. So this will take a while, and what I will do is speed up the video to go up to the next portion. So just be patient. You can walk away, go get a cup of coffee, but don't walk away for too long, because you'll likely get prompts throughout this setup process where you'll need to interact with it by putting in either your password or hitting Y for yes. Okay, that only took a couple of minutes, so that's good. Now you need to move into the new directory that was created. There is a directory in your main file folder that is titled Setup Scripts. So you're going to change directories. That's what the CD stands for here. And so we'll go over to CD Setup Scripts. What that means is it's going to change the directory, CD, into the Setup Scripts folder. So we'll copy that command, and that will change the directory into the Setup Scripts folder. Paste and hit return. Okay, now we're in the setup scripts folder. So let me just show you real quick. If we go over to our file directory and open that up, you will see that in your main home directory, there it is, setup scripts. So you're changing into that directory in the terminal. Now, periodically, you'll want to update the script because this is continuously being maintained, updated, fixes and patches being made. And that's what these other two lines right here, to CD setup scripts, that's change directory into the setup scripts folder, which you'll want to do first. So you can run git pull and then copy git pull command into your terminal. But we just installed this, so our git pull is up to date, which I'll demonstrate here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and close our internet browser now because we won't need it. But we are going to navigate into this new directory that was just created, setup scripts. So open that by double clicking, and you're going to find the AmRRON Scripts Guide PDF. Follow this very, very closely. This is something that I'm not going to belabor and go through this in the video. Once you run that setup script, it will include this setup guide in the setup scripts folder. This is going to walk you through, and I'm serious, follow this precisely, step by step, and it will answer so many questions that people have that they shouldn't have if they follow this PDF guide closely. So let's go to the using the AmRRON scripts. Let's open up a terminal with Control-Alt-T and then type in CD setup scripts. Once you've changed directories and you're in the setup scripts, as indicated right here in the terminal, let's scroll down now. We're going to run the install. Now go to section 5.3, and this is your AmRRON Linux install scripts. In your terminal, do a listing of the scripts that are in here, and that's just simply by typing ls. That will show you everything that's in there. You'll start with the AmRRON setup script.sh. And that command is further down in the page right there. So you're going to just highlight this, right click and copy. And you're going to paste that into your terminal. Put in your password. And we'll expand this so we can watch it in action. Now, this is going to open up the graphical user interface, what we call a GUI, GUI. It will assist you in installing or updating radio tools on your machine. This is a fresh install. It says Linux Mint 22.1, but we're up to 22.2 now. And it will make sure we have the latest or most stable version of each of the programs. So click OK. We've already done a system update and upgrade, so we'll skip this step. If you have not done an update and an upgrade for a while, then go ahead and choose the update option. Otherwise, choose skip. Now here, this is our first initial build. We are going to click on each one of these, and actually what we'll do is we will use the easy button. Click the easy button, and that's the fastest way to install everything that you need. There's a list of everything that it will install: ham library, FLDigi, FLMessage, FLAMP, FLRig, FLWrap, RDOP, ARM, GARM, VARM, PAT, Chirp for radio programming, your pulse audio control, all the way down the line. This is very comprehensive, and we'll go through some of these programs in more detail later at a later time. So let's go ahead and begin the install. This will take quite some time, so I will go ahead and skip ahead. All right, and it is complete. It took about 38 minutes to fully install the setup scripts, and you will probably see an error in a couple of areas here. The following failures occurred during installation: failed to download WSJTX and failed to install Snapped. But it doesn't affect the operation of the rest of the script and the software program. So click OK down in the lower right hand corner there. The installer compiled the current fork RDOP. Let's just click OK. Configuration file is required for your sound device to work in the RDOP TNC. That's fine, just click OK. And KM4ACK's script has been installed and a modified version for Vera created. Of course, many of our operators have ran KM4ACK's script. KM4ACK, I think just a few years ago, put his script together, and it is super helpful. He's done some really great work. So Tango Bravo 14's incorporated that into the AmRRON script as well. Okay, you selected to set up your system to work with the u-blox GPS for system time, and we'll get into the GPS time and GPS dongles and things later for your global positioning and for time synchronization for when you don't have internet. Conky has been installed and a configuration file created. Conky is a dashboard, kind of a heads-up display that will appear in the upper right-hand corner when we are all completed here. And you want to click Enable Auto Start so your Conky starts each time you start your computer. If you received an installation error for KeyPass X, a restart is required. We did not receive an error on that, and we'll talk about KeyPass and all of these other programs in another video. All selected updates have been completed. Click OK. Would you like to restart now? We'll go ahead and restart the computer. And the computer's restarted. We will put in our password. And there's the Conky that I was talking about before we did the reboot. So this is kind of like a heads-up display. It's see-through, and it shows you the performance of your computer, the RAM, your internet connection, your IP address. It gives you the Central Time, Eastern, and Zulu time, which is very helpful. It will let you know what the current AmCon level is, and if you're running a VPN or Tor, whether or not that's running, and whether or not your RDOP is on. So this is pretty useful. It also lets you know how much of your hard drive you have used and how much RAM you're using, and of course your temperature, the temperature of your device. So over here on the left, you will see that the icons have been added to the desktop already for you. And these consist of ham radio software, radio programming software, and security related software such as Cleopatra, your Paranoia text encryption, file encryption, and BitMessage, which we rarely ever use because it's not supported, but we do keep it because it does have some limited uses. VeraCrypt. We'll get into all of these later on, but the next thing I want to take you through is the installation of the trimode script. So go into your file directory and back to your setup scripts. Let's go to our AmRRON Setup Scripts Guide PDF. Now let's go down to section 5.4, AmRRON Trimode Setup .sh, and this is the command you're going to put in to your terminal. So let's reduce the size of this window and go down, or on your keyboard, open up a terminal by hitting Control-Alt-T. And we'll move our terminal off to the side here. And then copy, or you could just type in or copy and paste cd setup scripts. Okay, now that we've changed directories and we are now in the setup scripts in the terminal, we'll go ahead and run the try mode script. So just copy and paste this, Control C, and then over here you have to actually use the mouse buttons. So right click and paste and enter. All right, this will create your asound.configuration file. So click OK. Would you like to use the default try mode setup? Yes. Now for more advanced users, you'll be able to select some of these other options, but this is just for first time beginner introducing you to Linux and the setup script. We'll just go with most of the defaults on everything. So let's put in our password. And it will begin running the try mode script. This will allow you to run multiple different programs simultaneously without conflicting with one another. Click OK. Select your RDOP file before continuing. Oops. Click yes. Right there, select RDOP PC. Click OK. Click OK for your ASound config. This is just an informational screen. Select OK. Try mode has been configured. This is also just an informational screen. Read it so you have some basic understanding. This is how you enable rig control and PAT and RDOP and so on. And that's it. Your try mode script has been set up. Now there are additional configurations here and you'll want to go through those individually. And we will be talking about some of these different programs individually. You may be using an external sound card, such as a signal link, or you may be choosing to run FL-Rig, where the internal sound card in your radio, if you have a radio with an internal sound card, can run everything and you don't need an external sound card. So this is where you will go through with your individual setup and preferences. And there's too many different forks in the road that you can go down, but follow the setup guide and it will walk you through setting up. Probably 95% of users will be able to easily follow this guide and get set up with the rig that you are using. Okay, once you have everything installed, then go back to your setup script guide, which actually already have open, and there we go. Go to section 6, initial setup and configuration, and follow that precisely. It will, if you're running FL-Rig, like using rig control with a radio with a built-in sound card, go through the FL-Rig. Otherwise, you can skip that and use an external sound card like a signal link or a digi-rig. Okay, but going through this, he will Tango Bravo 14 introduced instructions on how to have multiple workspaces, which I just kind of covered in the hot corners tip, but there's also multiple workspaces that you can set up in a different way as well. Here's all your setup. Go through section 6. JS8 call setup, step by step, exactly how to set up each of the components of this, and then ComStat 1. It'll go through VARM if you're going to use VARM, but most of you are going to be jumping straight to JS8 call, ComStat, FL Digi Suite, which is FL Digi, FLAMP, FL Message, and if you are running Vera C, that setup is right down here. We will cover these in later videos, in addition to the videos that we already have. So after you've gone through these settings in the setup guide and configured those, I strongly recommend that you go to the AmRRON YouTube channel. It's AmRRON Communications, and go to the playlist. Okay, click the playlist tab, and then you will find digital modes in their own playlist, and ComStat has its own playlist because there are updates to ComStat, and go through those for your configuration. But let's look at digital modes. Okay, so the first one here is ComStat at the top, but these are actually in reverse order. So you may want to actually, if you're not familiar with digital modes at all and you want to familiarize yourself, you can scroll down to the bottom, and these are the order, the chronological order that they were created. So there's FL Digi, download, setup, and configure for Windows users, but the configuration settings are also very helpful, and there's settings in here, explanations and concepts and TTPs that are not covered in the AmRRON Linux build script setup guide. So make sure to be as proficient as possible and get the most use out of these programs. Go through these instructional videos on setting up, configuring, and operating these various different digital modes. And right now we have the whole FL Digi Suite in there, JS8 call, and ComStat are all videos that will be extremely helpful to you. You can skip ahead in the video to get past the download and configure part for Windows users. And when you get into the configuration, that's when it'll be really helpful. That's those settings. One common question comes up, and this, of course, depends on whether or not you're using rig control or if you are using an external sound card like SignalLink or DigiRig. But I have a SignalLink here with a USB cable, and I am going to plug that in just a moment. But this is about the Pulse Audio Volume Controller, or PAV controller. So let's go ahead and open up our Linux button there and type in Pulse. And there's our Pulse Audio Volume Control. Let's go ahead and click that to open it. And right here is, you'll see it down in the bottom tray. Go ahead and right click on that and click Pin to Panel. So it will be there all the time, because this is something you're going to want to keep available to adjust periodically. All right, so you will see your output devices, and right now it's just your USB, analog stereo, and your HDMI. And your input up here at the top tab, your input devices will show a USB microphone. Well, what we want to do is look for our audio device, either your radio or your external sound card. So I'm going to plug this SignalLink in now, and you'll see that appear, and there it is. You're going to be looking for something that says audio codec. And in this case, it's PMC or PCM 2904 audio codec analog stereo. And that is your external sound card. It might not show as PCM 2904, but you're looking for audio codec, and it should appear as soon as you plug either your radio or your external sound card in. That's for your input device and your output device. And there it is, PCM 2904 audio codec analog stereo output. Over here on the, move this to the center. Over here to the left, you'll see a recording tab. That's inbound audio that's coming in. And this is playback or outgoing audio. Let's open up a program such as FL Digi. Double click, we open up FL Digi, and now, as soon as we set this up, configure it, we're going to point to the volume, the pulse audio. Unlike the previous videos where I've covered setup, where we were using a USB device in Windows, okay, now we are in Linux, and this setup script installed pulse audio, which will allow you to run multiple programs simultaneously without having separate sound cards. It kind of creates kind of sub-channels, if you will. All right, so let's go into configure dialog, and we're going to go down to sound card, devices, and right here you're going to, instead of your port audio like you did in Windows, for capture and playback, you're going to select pulse audio and save and close. Now you see the little icon for FL Digi. If you close FL Digi, so in recording, there it is. And there's playback. See the little icon there? Okay, if we close it, it's no longer connected to pulse audio and it will vanish from pulse audio. As soon as you, from now on, now that you've had it configured, double click on FL Digi, and there's the icon over there in Pulse Audio. This is your volume control levels, so you don't overdrive. And if it's not powerful enough, it won't trip the radio. It won't activate it and begin transmitting. So you want to have it usually about 100% is fine, but you may have to make minor adjustments, especially if you're splattering or overdriving your outbound signal. And then on your recording level, you may want to adjust that so that you are decoding, but you're not overdriving your incoming signal, and you're not turning it down too low where you're not decoding. So we'll just leave that at 100 right now. And let's take a look at JS8 call. Yes, let's quit. And I'm showing you these two programs because these are the two most commonly used programs that get the highest amount of usage. Most of our operators, especially newer operators, are going to go straight to JS8 call and FL Digi. So let's open up JS8 call. And here you will see your audio input levels and see how that bright blue is there and the waterfall coming down. Okay, so you'll want to adjust this depending on your radio and your system. As you turn this down, it will change that color and lighten it up considerably. Okay, as soon as we increase, see that blue line there at the 1000 on the waterfall? That's some type of radio frequency interference, RFI. If I turn the volume way down, that line disappears. And now there's hardly any blue in there at all. So you'll find the sweet spot where to get that balance, where you get a good signal coming in, but you're not squelching everything out and you're not overdriving incoming signals. Okay, and then your playback will not even appear at all unless you're transmitting. JS8 call is peculiar in this way. There are some programs out there that it won't even appear in your volume control unless you are actually transmitting. So let's go ahead and hit, we've not even configured this at all yet. So let's enable heartbeat networking. This will allow us to transmit, which I'm not connected to a radio right now. It'll just go out over, let's see here, into nowhere. Send heartbeat now. Okay, at the 15-second mark, it will transmit. There we go. Okay, see how overdriven that is? That blue, you want to back this off so that blue bar below, you only get a second to adjust it. Let's go ahead and transmit. Actually, we can just hit the tune button. There we go. And you see this bar down below is showing your volume level that you're actually transmitting. And this is your adjustment level, your slider. So as you move the slider up and down, you'll increase your outgoing signal, basically the audio level. And that would be way too overdriven. You want to move your slider down so that you are between 80 and 100% on your outgoing signal for JS8 call, right about there. Now we can stop tuning, and that goes away. So with JS8 call, recording will show your incoming signal here, and your playback will only appear when you're actually transmitting. FLDigi will show you the incoming and outgoing, whether you're transmitting or not. So for the rest of your setup, go to the setup videos that you saw before on, that were set up for Windows. Remember, for Linux, though, the difference is you're going to be using Pulse Audio, this right here, to adjust your audio settings. And in your file, your JS8 configuration, you're going to be selecting this right here, this audio codec. For JS8 call, it will appear as this USB Burr Brown USB audio codec. And your output will also be USB audio, and there we go. Had to change that. Okay, so both of these should be that USB Burr Brown for input and output. And that's selectable from this drop-down menu. So go back down here to Burr Brown, output, and now those are set. And there you have it. So get to work, get your comms up, get everything downloaded, get everything set up, start experimenting with it. Even if you're just now jumping into Linux and you're still holding on to Windows, and maybe you have all of your ham radio software or some of it set up, and that's your safe space, and you don't want to wreck anything, and you're on the air and you don't want to mess it up. That's okay. You can build a Linux operating system and kind of go back and forth until you become comfortable with it, become familiar with the programs. And especially if you're running an external sound card, it's really easy just to unplug the USB cord from one computer and plug it into the other, experiment, play with it, become more familiar with it, more comfortable with it, gain confidence in it. And then before you know it, you'll be switched over and running a Linux operating system free from the controls of some of these other proprietary conglomerates. So we're about freedom. All right, guys, stay safe. 73. God bless. God bless the Republic. Get your comms up. This is John Jacob Schmidt, out.